Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting live from NGC Studios here tonight from South Florida. As always, welcome to the program, and thanks so much for joining me. Contact info as usual. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @70_NGC. Hashtag Whitfield Report. You can follow me on Gab at Sam Whitfield, Facebook.com/Whitfield Report, and of course thesamwhitfield.com for all your Sam Whitfield needs, even though I haven't updated that site in quite a long time. As always, you can listen to the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to your podcast too. Alright, folks, so last week there was no live show because of technical difficulties, and I am sorry about that, but we're back live now, so the show is back in full swing, and tonight's episode is going to be a State of the Union special review. I'm going to be reviewing some of my favorite moments from the State of the Union address that Trump did on Tuesday of this week, I believe. Alright, folks, so overall, let me just break down and say I thought that Trump did a pretty good job overall during the State of the Union. And let me just say that I was surprised that he did this well, because no matter who the presidency is, the third and fourth years I've tended to notice, at least in my lifetime, in terms of State of the Union, they're just not as good in general. They tend to be more low energy. The president, whoever it may be, Bush, Obama, those are the two ones that I can think of off the top of my head. During both of their respective third and fourth years in office, coming closer to the end of their first terms, the State of the Union was very low energy for both of them. Not as many people tuned in, and they just weren't as well received critically as Trump's was. And the media leading up to Trump's State of the Union address was saying that this was going to be a disaster. Right? The fake news media was saying, this upcoming State of the Union address is going to be a disaster. Trump just shut down the government for 3 weeks. This isn't going to go well for him, and we secretly hope he's going to fail. And yet he defied expectations, or I should say media expectations, of what the State of the Union address was, and he did a pretty good job. So I'm going to start off by playing a clip of what I thought was one of the most important moments, what he was talking about, which is immigration and just border security. So here's cut number one. Trump addresses the border wall and says it's a moral issue. Roll the tape.
Now, Republicans and Democrats must join forces again to confront an urgent national crisis. Congress has 10 days left to pass a bill that will fund our government, protect our homeland, and secure our very dangerous southern border. Now is the time for Congress to show the world that America is committed to ending illegal immigration and putting the ruthless coyotes, cartels, drug dealers, and human traffickers out of business. As we speak, large, organized caravans are on the march to the United States. We have just heard that Mexican cities, in order to remove the illegal immigrants from their communities, are getting trucks and buses to bring them up to our country in areas where there is little border protection. I have ordered another 3,750 troops to our southern border to prepare for this tremendous onslaught. This is a moral issue. The lawless state of our southern border is a threat to the safety, security, and financial well-being of all America. We have a moral duty to create an immigration system that protects the lives and jobs of our citizens. This includes our obligation to the millions of immigrants living here today who followed the rules and respected our laws. Legal immigrants enrich our nation and strengthen our society in countless ways.
Now, this is a 12-minute clip, and I'm going to play all of it, but starting off, everything Trump has said is correct, hence why I'm playing the...
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, everything Trump is saying is correct. This isn't a big secret by now, ladies and gentlemen. The border wall needs to be built in some capacity. It's been documented and proven by law enforcement officials that the drug cartels are using innocent civilians to basically traffic their drugs across, and also that they're dumping, that basically Mexico is dumping their prisoners, their ex-convicts into the U.S. at the border. So this isn't anything new that Trump has been saying, or that any of us have been saying. Now, you'll notice if you're watching on video that throughout this entire part of the speech, Pelosi, behind Trump on the right, looks extremely, extremely uncomfortable. She looks pained, and that just, to be honest, folks, that kind of amused me throughout this evening. But she looks so downtrodden when Trump mentions the fact that we need to clean up, the borders. Why don't we just ship all the illegal cartel members over to your house, Nancy? Obviously, you seem to be okay with an open borders, right? Oh yeah, that's right. You kicked Laura Loomer off your property with the illegals for doing the same thing. Funny how that works. Continuing on, though.
I want people to come into our country in the largest numbers ever, but they have to come in legally. Tonight I am asking you to defend our very dangerous southern border out of love and devotion to our fellow citizens and to our country. No issue better illustrates the divide between America's working class and America's political class than illegal immigration. Wealthy politicians and donors push for open borders while living their lives behind walls and gates and guards.
Another point that Trump brings up, that as Ed McMahon says here.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, Trump is correct. And this is what I was just mentioning a moment ago. Politicians and, celebrities live behind, they live in gated communities, protected by round-the-clock security, and yet these are the same people preaching, that we need open borders and that we need to take migrants in of all types, whether or not they have the legal means to come in. Now, I am all for discussing if we need to reform immigration. I personally don't think that we do. Our laws seem pretty straightforward. But I am open to talking about making the process easier. But we need to do it legally. But we still need to build the border wall and secure the border as a whole. Notice, too, that Trump says he wants as many immigrants to come in, but he wants them to do it legally. This is stuff that he has said repeatedly over and over again since 2015 when he was first running for president. And yet the media continues to ignore that part. At this point, willfully, I'm thinking. Alright.
Meanwhile, working-class Americans are left to pay the price for mass illegal immigration. Reduced jobs, lower wages, overburdened schools, hospitals that are so crowded you can't get in, increased crime, and a depleted social safety net. Tolerance for illegal immigration is not compassionate. It is actually very cruel.
For those of you listening on audio, I have a tremendous, for those of you listening to the audio podcast, you really should go back and watch the video too, when you have time of this. Because right now we're looking at, I paused the video, there's a great still of, Liz Warren looking absolutely, I don't know if dumbstruck or befuddled is the right expression, but she does not look happy. And this is very telling, because all Trump is saying is that he wants immigrants to come in legally. He wants as many to come in as possible. He's saying that the overcrowding is dangerous, not only to the people, but to our infrastructure as well, which is also 100% true. And yet she and many other Dems are just staring with glum, blank faces. So, anyway, by the way, shout out to Critter and MGF for joining the stream. Thanks for viewing and thanks for hitting that like button. Everyone else who comes in, please hit that like button, and that really helps me out. And thank you for helping the show.
1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted on the long journey north. Smugglers use migrant children as human pawns to exploit our laws and gain access to our country. Human traffickers and sex traffickers take advantage of the wide open areas between our ports of entry to smuggle thousands of young girls and women into the United States and to sell them into prostitution and modern-day slavery. Tens of thousands of innocent Americans are killed by lethal drugs that cross our border and flood into our cities, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. The savage gang, MS-13, now operates in at least 20 different American states, and they almost all come through our southern border. Just yesterday, an MS-13 gang member was taken into custody for a fatal shooting on a subway platform in New York City. We are removing these gang members by the thousands, but until we secure our border, they're going to keep streaming right back in. Year after year, countless Americans are murdered by criminal, illegal aliens. I've gotten to know many wonderful angel moms and dads and families. No one should ever have to suffer the horrible heartache that they have had to endure.
You are correct.
Here tonight is Deborah Bissell. Just 3 weeks ago, Deborah's parents, Gerald and Sharon, were burglarized and shot to death in their Reno, Nevada home by an illegal alien. They were in their 80s and are survived by 4 children, 11 grandchildren, and 20 great-grandchildren. Also here tonight are Gerald and Sharon's granddaughter, Heather, and great-granddaughter, Madison. To Deborah, Heather, Madison, please stand. Few can understand your pain. Thank you, and thank you for being here.
All right, now this was a pretty quote-unquote controversial moment, as the mainstream media dubbed it, when Trump quote-unquote used these families to score political points. But in my mind, that's not what he did here, and that's what the left does every single time a shooting happens, a school shooting happens. So Trump is using the I'll be honest, what he's doing is using these angel families for political capital to motivate Congress to pass the law. But at this point, I don't have a problem with that. And again, this goes to show that we need a border wall. So this was, I would call this a high moment of the speech for Trump, despite what the media says.
Thank you very much. I will never forget, and I will fight for the memory of Gerald and Sharon, that it should never happen again. Not one more American life should be lost because our nation failed to control its very dangerous border. In the last 2 years, our brave ICE officers made 266,000 arrests of criminal aliens, including those charged or convicted of nearly 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, and 4,000 killings or murders. We are joined tonight by one of those law enforcement heroes, ICE Special Agent Elvin Hernandez. When Elvin When Elvin was a boy, he and his family legally immigrated to the United States from the Dominican Republic. At the age of 8, Elvin told his dad
All right, something I want to point out here, folks. This is the point in the speech where I actually started watching live. I was on my way home when the speech started, but at this moment in time, at this particular moment was when I had started actually watching the speech live. And so for those of you watching the video, obviously you can see Nancy Pelosi is in the background reading papers. Now, I came in watching it on Tuesday night, and I thought, what the hell is she doing? She's not even paying attention. She's on, camera, and she's reading the dossier, and she did this quite a few times. And, I think the whole Pelosi reading papers thing was her, little act of rebelling against Trump. I'm not even going to pay attention to what the President of the United States has to say. I'm just going to, do my own thing. And she was probably looking over her notes for her response, which had already been pre-written, probably, to the State of the Union address. I'm just assuming, but I could be wrong.
Wanted to become a special agent. Today he leads investigations.
Oh, that was very interesting. When Trump mentioned that the ICE agent immigrated to the country illegally and wanted to become an ICE agent, Pelosi looked up from her papers just now, and she looks pissed. I mean, if you're watching this on video, you can kind of see the look on her face, which is kind of it's priceless, if I do say so myself. But this just goes to show the level of disdain the left has for ICE. It really does.
To the scourge of international sex trafficking. Elvin says that if I can make sure these young girls get their justice, I've really done my job. Thanks to his work and that of his incredible colleagues, more than 300 women and girls have been rescued from the horror of this terrible situation. And more than 1,500 sadistic traffickers have been put behind bars.
that was interesting right there, ladies and gentlemen. I just have to stop right there. For those of you listening on the audio podcast, obviously you can't see what just happened. But the women in white, the Democratic women in white, which were just their whole entire purpose was to basically protest, Trump's State of the Union speech by wearing like all white. They looked like KKK members, to be honest. And during this moment, you know what? Let me scroll back and replay that for you again. It's pretty interesting, actually, for those of you just tuning in. This is pretty interesting.
Nations into the scourge of international sex trafficking. Elvin says that if I can make sure these young girls get their justice, I've really done my job. Thanks to his work and that of his incredible colleagues, more than 300 women and girls have been rescued from the horror of this terrible situation. And more than 1,500 sadistic traffickers have been put behind bars.
Okay, pause. Okay, so if you're watching on the video, you can clearly see this. I'll just describe this for the audio listeners. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez leans over to one of the other women and to one of the other lib femme hacks wearing white and kind of consults her and, should we stand? And this other broad nods. Yeah, that's right. I used the term broad. This other broad nods and they stand up. As you'll see, they don't clap, they at least stand up. Oh, I'm mistaken. A few of them did actually clap for this, I guess.
Thank you, Alan. We will always support the brave men and women of law enforcement. And I pledge to you tonight that I will never abolish our heroes from ICE. Thank you. My administration has sent to Congress a common-sense proposal to end the crisis on the southern border. It includes humanitarian assistance, more law enforcement, drug detection at our ports, closing loopholes that enable child smuggling, and plans for a new physical barrier or wall to secure the vast areas between our ports of entry. In the past, most of the people in this room voted for a wall, but the proper wall never got built. I will get it built.
Pelosi looked so disgusted once he said that. By the way, I like Ted Cruz with the beard, I have to say. I know that there are some people who don't, but I actually think it looks good on him. So, keep the beard, Ted. I think it actually suits you. So.
This is a smart, strategic, see-through steel barrier, not just a simple concrete wall. It will be deployed in the areas identified by the border agents as having the greatest need. And these agents will tell you where walls go up, illegal crossings go way, way down. San Diego used to have the most illegal border crossings in.
Okay, and Pelosi is muttering under her breath. Kamala Harris right here, she's looking kind of smug. Don't know. I don't know why she's looking so smug. But by the way, she's not gonna be the nominee. Okay. I'll explain more about that tomorrow on the American Watchman Roundtable podcast, but folks, I don't think she's going to be the nominee. I don't.
Country. In response, a strong security wall was put in place. This powerful barrier almost completely ended illegal crossings. The border city of El Paso, Texas, used to have extremely high rates of violent crime, one of the highest in the entire country, and considered one of our nation's most dangerous cities. Now, immediately upon its building, with a powerful barrier in place, El Paso is one of the safest cities in our country. Simply put, walls work and walls save lives.
You are correct, sir.
Yep, Trump is absolutely right. Walls do work and walls do save lives, ladies and gentlemen. And Gabe in the YouTube live comments made this is the best comment of the evening, I think. He said Pelosi looks like she's wearing a ball gag, and if you look at, he's of course referring to the necklace she's wearing, and I saw that comment. I looked back at Pelosi, and it is true. She does look like she's wearing a ball gag here. So. That is, that's great. That's comedy right there from Mr. Gabe. All right, so that was one of the key highlights of the speech, but we're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. There were other moments here where Trump really shined, I thought. Namely, when he acknowledged the Holocaust survivor and who also survived the synagogue shooting last year. Now, the reason I think this is a highlight is because the media has been trying to link Trump to this whole alt-right movement for years and years and years now. And yet Trump spent a great deal on Tuesday night actually talking about how anti-Semitism is, of course, negative. He brought up the fact that the embassy and the U.S. embassy in Israel has been in fact moved to Jerusalem. Things that obviously disqualify and put to shame this false notion that he is part of the alt-right. This moment, though, where he acknowledges this Holocaust survivor, I thought was pretty striking. So here's clip number 2 of Trump talking about addressing the Holocaust survivor and the Tree of Life shooting survivor as well. Clip number 2, roll the tape.
We are also joined by Pittsburgh survivor Judah Samet. He arrived at the synagogue as the massacre began. But not only did Judah narrowly escape death last fall, more than 7 decades ago, he narrowly survived the Nazi concentration camps. Today is Judah's 81st birthday.
Again, even during this, Pelosi looks zonked out of her mind, ladies and gentlemen. She must have been high off the pain meds from the latest Botox injection. Good God. Dana Carvey is not joking when he says that she does literally look like the Joker from Batman.
They wouldn't do that for me, Judah. Judah says he can still remember the exact moment nearly 75 years ago, after 10 months in a concentration camp, when he and his family were put on a train and told they were going to another camp. Suddenly, the train screeched to a very strong halt. A soldier appeared. Judah's family braced for the absolute worst. Then his father cried out with joy, "It's the Americans! It's the Americans!"
So, again, let me just reiterate that the reason why I played that clip was because it dispels this false narrative that the alt-right is associated with Trump and, that Trump is for the alt-right. Completely destroys that narrative. And yet the media will still continue to portray him as an alt-right figurehead. This is why, this is why the New York Times and CNN and all those other media outlets really do get really do deserve the title of fake news. They absolutely deserve it. Okay, so what do we have next on the list? As far as audio sound bites go, we also have this. Oh, this is another great moment, folks. We have Trump addressing paid family leave, abortion, and this is a moment where he goes to Master Troll Level 1000 and acknowledges that this is the Congress with the most amount of women serving on it. And he even gets the women in white to stand up, which is absolutely great. Clip number 3, go.
To help support working parents, the time has come to pass school choice for Americans' children.
Now, I do have to wonder real quick, who is that lady in purple, and why did she look so pissed? I actually asked about that on Twitter the other night during this whole thing, and no one seems to know who she is, but she's probably some big leftist, donor or lobbyist. She kind of looks like a feminist. So, anyway, just an observation. Back to Trump's State of the Union.
I am also proud to be the first president to include in my budget a plan for nationwide paid family leave so that every new parent has the chance to bond with their newborn child. There could be no greater contrast to the beautiful image of a mother holding her infant child than the chilling displays our nation saw in recent days. Lawmakers in New York cheered with delight upon the passage of legislation that would allow a baby to be...
Now, okay, folks, now I just got done, commenting on how, how Trump addressing the Holocaust survivor proves that he isn't anti-Semitic. But I've got to say that Chuck Schumer right here is not doing any favors to to dispel this. I mean, he's got the conniving Jew meme look going, and I'm not anti-Semitic in any way, but evil Eric in the chat is like he looks like a super villain. He looks like a few shades removed from Hannibal Lecter. Like, yes, I will have your liver with a side of Chianti. Yeah. I can totally picture Schumer going home and feasting on some poor person's liver or something like that. He's just god awful. Yeah, Kat's right. Kat is absolutely right.
Ripped from the mother's womb moments from birth. These are living, feeling, beautiful babies who will never get the chance to share their love and their dreams with the world. And then we had the case of the governor of Virginia, where he stated he would execute a baby after birth. To defend the dignity of every person, I am asking Congress to pass legislation to prohibit the late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in a mother's womb.
Oh, and there's the new KKK, feminist movement. Very, very telling. As I said earlier in the stream, I'm not so sure if that whole thing was intentionally coordinated, but boy, that look, sure, it probably didn't give off the image that they were hoping for, because they all look like Klan members there.
Let us work together to build a culture that cherishes innocent life. And let us reaffirm a fundamental truth. All children, born and unborn, are made in the holy image of God.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch...
No. This is... Okay. I should have cut that out before I uploaded that, but here's what I have to say to George Stephanopoulos and the ABC crew. Yes, I did get some of these clips from ABC News, but nevertheless, this is what I have to say to George Stephanopoulos.
Shut up! It's Daddy, you shithead. Where's my bourbon? Fuck! You fucker!
Yep. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I think of the media. That's also what I think of of all these Dems who are sitting for, late-term abortion. Kat and Eric both bring up a good point. And I addressed that on the audio podcast last week. So if you haven't heard that, please go on Apple Podcasts and subscribe. Feminists are deranged. You're absolutely right, Kat. And as I mentioned before, now they're going after NFL cheerleaders too, as I mentioned on the Thursday audio podcast. But anyway, so yeah, Trump's doing national family paid leave. Oh my God, what a horrible monster he is for doing that. I thought that was a pretty I thought that was a pretty big moment in the State of the Union address. Also very telling for how the Democrats reacted to as well, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very telling. And finally, what I would say is Trump's best moment in the State of the Union address. And by the way, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button and share this with your friends. So finally, for what I think is probably the best moment in the State of the Union address, Trump addresses socialism and completely trolls Bernie Sanders and the leftists. Alright, here is the best clip. Cut number 5. Roll the tape.
Part of a bold new diplomacy, we continue our historic push for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Our hostages have come home. Nuclear testing has stopped. And there has not been a missile launch in more than 15 months. If I had not been elected President of the United States, we would right now, in my opinion, be in a major war with North Korea. Much work remains to be done, but my relationship with Kim Jong-un is a good one. Chairman Kim and I will meet again on February 27th and 28th in Vietnam. Two weeks ago, the United States officially recognized the legitimate government of Venezuela and its new president, Juan Guaido. We stand with the Venezuelan people in their noble quest for freedom, and we condemn the brutality of the Maduro regime, whose socialist policies have turned that nation from being the wealthiest in South America into a state of abject poverty and despair.
Wait for it.
Here in the United States, we are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country. America was founded on liberty and independence, and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free, and we will stay free.
Bernie Sanders is just sitting there with this just wretched look on his face. You know, he's literally the grumpy old man in the park, folks. He really is. I would like socialism. I want centralized healthcare. I want the rich to basically give me all their money because fuck them. And these capitalists, they've been fucking me in the ass all these years, even though they're more successful than I am, and even though I'm lazy and true, I have 3 houses, but why mention that? I am a socialist and I want everyone but myself to basically not have anything. Now please give me my dentures and my Jello pudding. Thank you very much. That's what's going through Bernie Sanders' head all at once when Trump is saying that.
Tonight, we renew our resolve that America will never be a socialist country.
No, we will not be, Mr. President. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what you are, but assuming you're a troll, so welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in, but yeah, the Trump crime family, yeah. How about the Clinton crime family, bucko? That's more like it. Alright, yeah, so, those are my favorite moments from the State of the Union address. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, most people thought that this was going to be a real downer as far as State of the Union speeches go. Most of the State of the Union speeches from past presidents usually don't go that well in the past for the third and fourth year. Usually they lack energy and just aren't that good. But Trump's speech, I thought, on Tuesday was pretty good overall. He did get a little. He did toe the neocon line a little bit when it came to foreign affairs and foreign policy, but overall it was pretty good. So, anyway, there's not much else I can say on the State of the Union, ladies and gentlemen. All I can say is it was pretty good overall, and I'm curious to know what you guys thought, ladies and gentlemen. So leave your comments in the comment section below or live chat them for me. And thanks to everyone who joined the show tonight. For those of you just tuning in, I hate to disappoint, but we're about to close the show. But before we do, I do want to remind you that tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be co-hosting the American Watchman Roundtable with Joshua Johnson and Gabe Icaboni, and we will be also talking about the State of the Union and going into detail about about what's going on. So, yeah, Eric, that's good to know. The algorithm is working tonight. That's good. That's good, Eric. I'm glad to hear that. So, yeah. So, also, ladies and gentlemen, one thing I would suggest regarding the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, because the replay, YouTube is being weird as of late. So first off, when subscribing to my channel, and by the way, thanks to all who have subscribed, I've gained over 20 subscribers this week, so my channel is now at 120 subscribers. So thanks to everyone who subscribed, and thanks to Merch and Royce over at Revenge of the Sis for helping me get more subscribers. I really appreciate that. But for those of you who aren't receiving stream notifications, first of all, make sure you have the notification bell tagged for my stream channel, this one, and also make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you get your podcast, because even if you're not getting the video version here on YouTube, even if that's not showing up for you, you will get the audio version delivered directly to your phone or tablet or wherever you listen to podcasts. So, be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I do think YouTube is working a little bit better now. So, as I mentioned, tomorrow night will be the American Watchman Roundtable. We'll be discovering the State of the Union again tomorrow evening. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm looking at the show notes for tonight, there actually was one more thing I wanted to bring up. So let me open a new tab. Someone sent this to me, and I'm glad I remembered this before I shut the stream off. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, it was I thought it was pretty hilarious, actually. Basically, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, has been trying to get the pass that Green New Deal, and even Pelosi is now saying that AOC is crazy and that it's a bad idea. So why is Twitter now saying that? Okay. All right. And of course, it's going to make me log in. So, yeah. 17 investigations into the Trump crime family. Yeah, I know that, P. Grant, but, none of them are turning anything up. So, quit spamming the chat. The mods have my full authorization to mute people if they keep spamming. So okay, let's see here. And yeah. By the way, I do want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Eric, Evil Eric, who drew a pretty good sketch of me on the channel and for the channel, and so I want to give out a shout out to him for doing that. I retweeted it on my Twitter feed, so thanks once again for doing that, Eric. I really appreciate it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. Headline from the Daily Wire. Install later. Okay. Whoa. That is not what I was hoping would pop up. Okay. Weird. Let me read this article to you from the Daily Wire, though. Headline, Pelosi excludes Ocasio-Cortez from new climate change committee. And this will be in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen, for the podcast. Okay. Speaker Nancy Pelosi from California excluded Democratic Socialist Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York, from serving on the new Climate Change Committee on Thursday as she announced new Democratic members who will serve on the committee. The New York Post reports that Pelosi threw some serious shade on Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. Get rid of. Okay, yeah, sorry about the pop-ups. Let's see. When asked about Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal during an interview with Politico on Wednesday, Pelosi appeared to dismiss the Ocasio-Cortez's plan. It will be one of several, or maybe many suggestions that we receive, Pelosi said. The Green Dream, or whatever they call it. Nobody knows what it is, but they're for it, right? The Tampa Bay Times reports that the following Democrats were selected to the new Climate Change Committee. Representatives Ben Ray Lujan of New Mexico, Suzanne Bonamici of Oregon, Julia Brownlee of California, Sean Casten of Illinois, Jared Huffman of California, Mike Levin of California, Donald McEachin of Virginia, and Joe Negussi of Colorado. We have a moral responsibility to protect God's creation for generations to come, Pelosi tweeted. That is why today we named members to the Select Committee on the Climate Crisis. This is extremely ironic considering that Pelosi sat for the period of time when Trump was protecting the unborn, ladies and gentlemen. It really is ironic. But at any case, weird. Okay, it is still not projecting the screen on the live stream. Okay, back to the article. But Pelosi's announcement concedes with Ocasio-Cortez's Thursday release of a coincides with Ocasio-Cortez's Thursday's release of a Green New Deal resolution that calls on the United States to mobilize against climate change just the way the nation mobilized to fight World War I. This is such a major watershed moment, and I am so incredibly excited that we are going to transition this country into the future and that we are not going to be dragged behind by our past. I'm so excited by that, Ocasio-Cortez said. Today is the day we truly embark on a comprehensive agenda of economic, social, and racial justice in the United States. That's what this agenda is all about. So of course it's the same Marxist bullshit she's been peddling and that socialists like Bernie Sanders have been peddling for quite a while now. Continuing on. But the Green New Deal has many detractors. The excessive intervention Representative Ocasio-Cortez calls for would be crippling for the environment, simply because it would slow the economic growth process that makes green energy advances possible to begin with, Jason Pye opines at Real Clear Markets. Seemingly missed by Representative Ocasio-Cortez and other environmentally focused Democrats is the economic growth itself is the greatest threat to all of the green movement, without addressing how effective are Representative Ocasio-Cortez's solutions. They're most likely to reveal themselves not through force, but thanks to prosperity that provides people with means to alter their driving habits, use of electricity versus solar, along with how they eat, travel, dispose of trash, and seemingly everything else. Simply put, growth is what frees us up to focus our energies on fixing the world around us. It's no exaggeration to say that if implemented, the Green New Deal would upend our way of life and destroy the liberty and prosperity of Americans of all backgrounds currently enjoy, Jared Stepman writes at the Daily Signal. The Green New Deal doesn't just include environmental environmentalist proposal. It also includes a grab bar bag of other left-wing goodies to mitigate deeply entrenched racial, regional, and gender-based inequalities in income and wealth, including, without limitation, ensuring that the federal and other investment will be equitably distributed to historically impoverished, low-income, decentralized, or other marginalized communities in such a way that builds wealth and ownership at the community level. So basically, even Nancy Pelosi is saying, yeah, this Green New Deal is complete bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. So for once, I would like to, praise Nancy Pelosi and say thanks for sticking up to Ocasio-Cortez. And I know Ocasio-Cortez is memeable, folks. I get it. She is a truly living meme. I understand it. I get it. And it is hilarious. But she is also radically dangerous. She is a true communist. She is a true socialist, borderline communist. Very scary. Alright, folks, so that concludes this episode of the Whitfield Report. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the show this evening. Thanks to Jeff, Eric, Gabe, Alyssa, MJF, Critter, all of you who tuned in, and all of you, of course, who listen to this on the audio podcast as well. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and wherever you are, don't forget to tune in to the American Watchman Roundtable tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Good night, God bless, and God save this great nation as always.